Good morning, everybody. It is fantastic to see you here for our first ever the Yes Zone live LinkedIn event. And my gosh, it's been a long time coming, and it's incredible to be here today. And I'm so happy that you're here to join us. My name is Rachel Bourke. I'm the co-founder and head trainer at SalesSPACE. At SalesSPACE, we promise to halve the time it will take you to double your sales. We help experts to understand what it is that is holding them back from making a lot of money in their business. And we help you to master the art of selling without ever sounding salesy. Now, the Yes Zone is a place of possibility. It is a place where people say yes to you easily. You are fully organized, you are fully prepared, and you are ready to go. You don't have any, oh God, I hope they don't ask me this, I hope they don't ask me that. You don't have any of those. You are fully prepared for any of your conversations in the work environment. And you know that when people meet you, when prospects or clients meet with you, you are going to tick every one of their boxes. So this live zone, our Yes Zone live show, is all about helping you to understand everything you need to put in place to make that a reality. Now, as Kath says, our special guest today, and I'll talk to you about Kath in a moment, Kath has said to me, the no zone is a nasty, ugly place, and you don't want to be there. It's when you feel like you are not prepared. You feel awkward. You feel like you're just stumbling through and quite chaotic in your sales approach. And it's not helpful to be like that. In fact, it's incredibly uncomfortable, and it's very, very, very hard for sales ever to be made in the no zone. So our LinkedIn live show is going to be amazing, and it's going to be coming to you with loads of brilliant content across the next couple of months. Today, we've got an incredibly special guest with us for our first ever episode, and I'm very excited to bring to you Kath Walters. Kath Walters is one of Australia's leading book coaches. She is what we call the finishing freak. Now, Kath's promise is that she will help you write an incredible book, a brilliant book, in 90 days. And I know she does it. She does it for so many of our clients. They all rave about her and love her like crazy. And as do we. Col and I have worked with Kath now for a number of years, and she is an amazing lady with incredible talent and an ability to not only just do everything she needs to do in her own business, but also to help others do what they need to do in theirs, to write a brilliant book. And we're going to come together today to answer some of the biggest questions in this arena. When you might be an author already, or a would-be author. You might be a little bit like me if I tell you the truth. I've been sitting on the fence with this one for about 5 years now. Our book, The Yes Zone, 80% done, sitting in our folder in our computer, and quite torturously never to see the light of day. And it's already taken us so much work. And if Col and I, my husband and business partner, if we would have known Kath all those years ago, back 5 years ago when we started, we would have been finished and we'd be on to our fifth book and not trying to get our first one done. So Col and I will be working with Kath this September. We cannot wait to get our first book out, and I'm very excited about it. But we train and help so many authors to just create incredible revenue from their books, and we love showing you how to do that. So let me bring in our very special guest. We've only got 45 minutes today, so I'd like to bring Kath in now. And here she is. Kath, fantastic to have you here today, and thank you so much for being with us.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for the lovely introduction.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Kath, well, we have loads of questions to get through today, and I know that you have already written, well, you've been a journalist for over 25 years, a very accomplished business journalist, and you've written for some incredible publications. Would you like to share with people a little bit of your background and what makes you the person that we need to listen to if we're going to write a brilliant book?
Okay, thanks. I'm I'm a business journalist, so my background is in business journalism. I worked at Fairfax. I wrote for a magazine called Business Review Weekly for many years, and since then I've written for multiple publications, including Company Director and Smart Company, ANZ Blue Notes, and a variety of others. And look, really, what my background has shown me is how to get writing done at a high standard in a short time.
Yes, absolutely. And that you do. I've seen the work that you were able to produce. It is amazing. All right. Well, Kath, you are in a perfect position to be able to answer some pretty big questions that we have today. And I hope that there's a number of people listening so that this, I mean, obviously LinkedIn streams right around the world. So I know this is going to be incredibly helpful to so many people. So let's have a look at our first question for today. So Kath, can you answer this one for us? What is the biggest issue facing authors or would-be authors today in this environment?
Okay, look, to be honest, I think one of the biggest issues facing would-be authors is where to start. So most people who are experts in their field have so many ideas, they just don't know really where to get started. They don't know what to put in their books, and they don't know what to leave out of their books. And this is the most common problem that authors who I work with come to me with. I've got 10 books in my head. Where do I start?
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Okay, thank you, Kath. And the next question that we have for you is, what are the 7 myths? And I think you've already said to me, Rachel, if you ask me 7, I'm going to be here for 7 hours. So let me just change that. What are the 2 biggest myths, I suppose, about authorship that drive you crazy every time you hear them?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me just
Feels good.
It feels good. Love to get. And something I ask my authors to do actually is to identify the myths that really bug them, because this gives us a big energy burst around writing our book. So one thing I love to sort of talk about early on is that the idea of finding your voice, that is a myth. So we find our voice when we know who we're writing for. So when you know who you're writing for, you know what to say. And the example I have, and I've written it in my book, Overnight Authority, is imagine if you're writing a book for the Prime Minister about how to scramble eggs. So you would immediately know what sort of tone, what kind of words to include, what kind of ideas to include in that book, because you know busy politicians are always trying to impress people. They don't have time for scrambled eggs that takes ages, right? But if you write that book for a 4-year-old, you're going to immediately change the voice that you bring to the story. You're going to use simpler words, easier ideas. You're going to explain more, because you're not going to be able to assume knowledge. So I love it when we get rid of this, because the reason I love getting rid of that myth is that it stops people. It really holds people back. It's like, I've got to find my voice before I write a book. No, you have to find out who you're writing for.
Yes, okay.
So the second big one that I'd love to bust is that you need great writing skills to write a book, and that if you write it fast, it's going to be a poor quality. So my book, my whole program is about writing a book really fast. And the myth here is that we have to take years of agony about writing our book. We can't. And who is an expert who has years of time? We don't. We're busy doing our other things that we're doing. I mean, time is of the essence.
Yeah, so, and as soon as I knew, when I read you that you said that to me, and I thought, gosh, that is just so true. We're all the same. We've got so much going on any time. We don't have loads of time to be writing our book. So I love that you said that is actually a myth, Rachel. I'm like, oh my God, thank goodness for that. Yes.
And it's great to let go of that myth. Although it is quite hard, we sort of feel like if we actually get something done fast with a lot of momentum, maybe it isn't good enough. And it's sometimes we have, I've had clients, authors who've sat on their books for a while as if they just had to let it sort of incubate. But the book was exactly the same as when they finished it. It's just that really you can, when I was a journalist, Before I went on holidays, I used to be able to fly through a story. I'd write 2,000 words in a morning, you know. And when I came back, it'd be like wading through treacle. It'd take me a morning, I'm like still on the same paragraph. So why is 99% momentum? We just do it fast when we keep the momentum up.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That has taken the greatest weight off my shoulders, which is great. Okay, so that answers that question. The next question that we get asked, that people have written in and asked, is, to me, well, this is, I suppose, I wrote in and asked this one. To me, writing a book feels like an emotional roller coaster. Having already tried to do it on my own, nightmare. Okay, are there emotional challenges that every author experiences writing a book, or am I the only one who feels like this?
Dear. Look, I think the best authors feel self-doubt. You know, when we don't feel self-doubt, I think there's I think there's a risk there. In fact, I think self-doubt plays a terrific role in writing your book if you can tame it. If self-doubt stops you from working at all, then it's clearly, it's not tamed, it's out of control. But yes, self-doubt is a really common one. So when people say, I'm not sure if I've got a great book, or if I've got, I'm not sure if I'm ready, I say, welcome to the world of authors.
Yeah, okay.
Riddled with self-doubt. And so there are many ups and downs. And I love to tell my authors about the book by Seth Godin called The Dip. And the dip explains that there's this kind of point in the middle of doing anything that really requires a lot of effort, where you completely lose sight of the goal. And
scary.
Scary, it is. But it's the reason why the reason why we respect authors is because most people, it's getting started is hard, but it's finishing that's the hardest.
Yeah. I know. I just quickly tell you a story. Col has always said to me, so Col, my husband, has always said, Rachel, it's about the 80% mark where you just want to sit down and start crying, and you just think, oh my gosh, it's just not happening for anything, and it's across the board. It's just not writing a book. When you're doing something that's taking a lot of effort, and then you just push through that, and boom, there it is, it's done. So I know when I want to start to cry, I'm probably almost there. I've just got to push through that last bit, which so many people don't do. So it's great to hear that answer. Okay, so our next question is, you make the claim that you help experts to write a brilliant book in 90 days. Yes, but it seems like an extraordinary promise, Kath. How is it possible?
Okay. Let me say, I want to quote, I love quoting authors. Let me quote the fabulous author Anne Lamott, who says, every great writer writes a terrible first draft.
Oh.
The secret of my program is to get the first draft done really fast. So we get to the first draft, we save 75% of the writing time to the first draft. So that allows you heaps of time to polish the book to brilliance. So perfect books are impossible, but brilliant books are not. And brilliant books happen when we polish the first draft to brilliance. How do we get to that first draft in such a short time? I have a process where you do a lot of focusing and planning, and then you record each chapter. And then in my program, we transcribe it, and we also help you get it to that first draft stage. Then it's over to you, polish, using my 7-step review process, which jumps it up to 80%.
Oh gosh, I can't wait. I feel like I'm going to be, I know that I'm going to be writing many books, not just one. So you're making it sound exciting. I really like it. I like things. My favorite 2 words are efficient and effective. And I really feel like you and I have a very similar, view on the world when it comes to getting things done. We want them to be brilliant, but we want it done efficiently and effectively. Okay, so how can I make rivers of revenue from my book? This is a question that we get asked all the time. It's one of those ones that obviously that we get asked at SalesSPACE because people, experts work with us to make that a reality. And let me tell you, I've done it the hard way. Col and I have done it the hard way because we haven't done our book yet. So we've had to create an incredible business without the book. Yes, we've got unbelievable IP. We love it, and obviously it's very sought after. We're very lucky in that way, but without the book, we've made it harder for ourselves. So, Kath, what's your take on how you make rivers of revenue from your book?
So, first of all, authors need you. So you must have a sales process that you use, but in order to make the rivers of revenue from your book. But let me just make a sort of a point about two types of publishing. So there is traditional publishing. To make rivers of revenue from your traditional publishing path, you need to sell hundreds of thousands of books, because the royalty system typically gives you only 10% of the actual cost of the sale price of the book, the recommended retail price. So what I focus on is what I call authority publishing, but it's also called self-publish or independent publishing. Yes. So authority publishing means that you can use your book and you can say to the people who might be interested in working with you, this is what I'm on about. This is my program. This is how I work. You please read my book and see if you're interested in the kind of person I am and the way that I work. And what I find is that I actually don't worry about selling my book at all. Sometimes it sells and that's wonderful. I give it away to prospective clients and I ask them to check in and just see if that's the sort of person they want to work with. Me.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I know that when I read your book, I'm like, sign me up. I love it when you say you have me at a low. I love it when people say that to me. And, reading, it didn't take me long to read through the first few pages. And I thought, oh, God, she is the lady I've been waiting for. So, yes, perfect. I think we are a very good team when it comes to creating rivers of revenue from your book. All right, then. Our next question is, how do I carve out the time to write one? I mean, far out this one, asked by so many people. Yeah. And in particular me, I just think, wow, we've got a lot on our plate. We've got children, we've got teenage kids, we've got sport, I got horses, we got bikes, we got everything going on, as well as all of our clients. I just think to myself, how on earth do I find the time to write a book? What do your authors do, Kath?
Yeah, so this is actually the hard thing about carving out the time is sticking to the time limits. So once we get involved, it's easy to sort of get lost and spend hours and hours in it. So the way that you carve out the time, now let me just say, it's not no time, right? It's fast, it's 90 days. It's about 1 hour a day plus the time you spend with me. Yeah. But so you do have to find that hour. And look, an hour is hard to find, but you might get up a little bit earlier. You can do it in different sort of ways. The reality is, though, that you can follow a process that will get you about an hour a day to get this book done and brilliant if you follow the process. So it requires a bit of a leap of faith about some bits. For example, that you just get that first draft down really quickly. So people get very, very sort of worried that first draft have to be perfect. Not possible. It has to be brilliant. Not possible either. Every great writer writes a terrible first draft. So,
good to know, Kath. Good to know.
We're going to polish. We get to the first draft and we polish. That's how it becomes brilliant.
Yeah. So okay, that makes me excited. Okay, that's good. I know that I get on a bit of a roll. So stopping. I think stopping, finding the hour. I'm getting. I feel like now I know you well enough, and I've read the book. I feel like the process is going to it's going to alleviate my fears and make it possible. My fear has almost become now, I want to find big slabs of time, and keeping to that hour a day is going to be challenging because I know I'm going to get quite excited about getting on a roll. All right, our next question is, how do you work out which of your ideas will be more successful than others? This is a big one because there's many ideas and many people we'd like to work for, to speak to. And I suppose from a sales perspective, just to give a bit of context around this, so many people come to us and say, my product or my service is right for everybody. I want to sell to everybody. And we always say to our clients, we've got to do deep targeting, because if you try and sell to everybody, you will get nobody. So understanding your target audiences and exactly who they are and what makes them tick is incredibly vital to doing this well. So Kath, how do you work out which of your ideas will be more successful than others?
Okay. Well, let me say that is that targeting, and I know that you and I share a lot of common ground on targeting. So when you write a book that's really well targeted to a particular audience, then it becomes something that they just can't walk past. And when somebody can't walk past your book, then they can't walk past you and your programs. So there's two things. One is you've got to be super clear to the point where, excuse me, it's almost painful to choose who you're writing for. And the second is that you need to make sure the book does link back to something you can sell. Now, we were talking about the rivers of revenue. My book is about my program. In fact, if you want to, you can just buy my book and that's the whole program there. And some people have, I'm totally happy for that. They've written whole books following my book. That's clever. And other people come to work with me. So you have to really have a relationship between the book that you write, the people you want to work with, and the way that you work.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, beautiful. And you can see across the bottom of our screen then, we were just showing you, and I'll talk about this at the end as well. Kath and I are going to be running 2 different webinars that are going to help anybody who wants to know, any authors or would-be authors who want to get really into the heads, really want to answer that question very well and understand exactly who they should be writing for to have the most successful book. We're going to be doing 2 webinars, free webinars, Kath and I, across 2 different hours to help you do that. And we're super excited about that. Okay, so next question is, how do I leverage my expertise in such a way that what I write becomes, how do I leverage my expertise in such a way that what I write becomes a call to action for clients and prospects?
So if you like, I think that this pertains to the structure of books. So first of all, if we think about it, if we think about a 9-chapter structure, and we have, sort of a why section, a what section, and a how section. So could you excuse me while I just have a sip of water?
Absolutely. And while you're having a sip of water, I will just say the webinars, I've just said what we're going to be doing. Yes, thank you, Georgie. What we're going to be doing is running the webinars on the targeting. We're actually running a masterclass on the targeting. The webinars that we'll talk about in a moment, 2 different 1-hour webinars. And I'll talk about those in a second. But everything we're doing across our partnership together with Kath is to help you authors and would-be authors to get clearer and clearer and clearer on the clarity that you are craving to write the very best book. Okay, Kath, let's go. So our next question is, and thank you for being here, Wendy, how do I leverage my expertise in such a way that that's the question we've just had, Lauren.
So we're going to divide the book up into 3 sections: why, what, and how. Right. So we're going to look at why people need to read your book. And that's really where we talk about the problems that the reader might have that they've come to your book with. We're going to look at some chapters about what it is that you think about those problems that's different to everyone else.
Yes.
And often that's quite a challenge for the readers. You're saying, hey, how you've thought about your problems in the past isn't the way that isn't working for you. But the final 3 chapters are how. And this is where we inspire your readers to solve their problems with your thinking. So that you solve the why with your what, and they learn how. And that is just so exciting. People feel, oh my gosh, I can get out of this situation and really use these ideas to make my life different, which is what happened when I did SalesSPACE training.
Yeah. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so the next question is, how do you maintain momentum and focus on accepting that your book is finished and not keep on looping back all the time to think that it needs to be better and better and better and playing the procrastination game? How do you keep momentum and get this thing finished?
Okay, this is one, because as you introduced me, and one of my favorite labels for myself is I am a finishing freak. So
absolutely.
You get a hell of a lot of endorphins when you finish things. So I think I might just be addicted to endorphins. So maintaining momentum. So maintaining momentum is about being, having a team around you to help you kind of keep setting deadlines and hitting them. focusing on accepting your book is finished is a tricky one. And I find that it's about process. So what we do is we have a 2-stage process. One where you go and you actually share your book with a limited number of readers. I call them first readers. And these people are people who are in your target audience, but they're also on your side. They're supportive. They care about your success. And they give you feedback about whether your book is actually landing. So it's like a staged process. And the second step is editors. Wonderful people who help us again to make sure that what we have written is accessible, relevant, pertinent to your audience. So we bring in people who help us to get past the finishing barriers. Me first, then readers, then editors.
Yeah, and everybody needs people around them. You need your team you need your Yes Zone team, don't you, to keep you moving forward, and you know that they're your greatest fans, but they're going to give you really helpful feedback as well, which is great. So that is a relief as well. Okay, so one of the questions we've got from David Shirley. Thank you for being here, David. It's great to see you. I teach professionals how to leverage tech. In writing a how-to book, I worry it will be out of date before I even finish. What are your thoughts? Well, that's a great question.
What a terrific question. And this is, this can happen to us all. Things move so fast, don't they, in today's world. So, David, what I'd suggest is to think more about the principles behind the technology than the actual tech itself. So you're looking more to provide people on how to make the choices about the technology rather than actually necessarily, you could recommend current technologies, but then you work back and show them how you arrived at that choice. I hope that helps to answer that question.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Kath. Okay, and our next question is, we've got another question there that we've got. Okay, after being a world-class journalist for so long, what is the one secret you can share with authors or would-be authors that would make their book a bestseller or a category killer?
Well, the number one thing is to start with who. Start with who you're writing for. So when you choose who you're writing for, you open up a world of possibilities. It feels really uncomfortable because the definition of human intelligence, which I sort of have paraphrased from a fabulous expert called Alice Wisner-Gross, and I apologize to you, Alex, but it's smart people don't make choices until the last minute. So it feels uncomfortable for smart people to make a choice to focus on a very clear niche audience. And yet that is the number one thing that will make your book relevant to more people than you could ever possibly imagine.
Yeah, wow. Great tip. Very important, something that we believe wholeheartedly in. If authors want to be able to operate in the yes zone, to reiterate, is where you hear yes most often. So if you want to be that prepared, that organized, that professional, that personable, that perceptive, then you need to understand how to operate in the yes zone. And that is exactly what we're going to be able to teach you how to do across this series and any other work that you're going to be doing with us at SalesSPACE, and also any work that you do with Kath as well, because I know she well and truly operates in the yes zone herself, having done a lot of work with us and just one of our greatest supporters, and we are one of her greatest supporters as well. So I think that might be all the questions we have. Do we have any other questions there? If there are, pop them up on the screen. I think we're done with questions, which is cool. So as you'll see the message on the screen now, I truly believe this. Marketing makes you feel good. Sales transform your life. So as an author, as an expert, as someone who is running your own business and you rely on your IP to drive your income, then it's okay to do loads of marketing. But if you can't actually convert those sales and make the most of all of that marketing effort, then it is a total, waste of a lot of resources. And it makes, I know, because we train a lot of people, we mentor a lot of experts in this space. And I know what it does to you to self-confidence. I know how it makes you feel when you just can't get out there and optimize all of your efforts. And writing a book is an effort that you want to optimize. So Kath and I have actually got a fantastic we've got 2 webinars in our webinar series, which is Books That Drive Rivers of Revenue webinar series that I'm going to pop up on the bottom of the screen right now. So on LinkedIn and in the chat, we're going to push this, we're going to pop this link in there so that you can register for the 2 webinars. Can I go to a screen to show the webinars? Let me see if I can do that. Is that something I can go? Pardon, number 4? Okay, let me just quickly go over the top of us, Kat, so I can speak to this. Oh, it's over the top of me. Anyway, let me just go like this. Oops. Hang on. What have I done? So we've got, oh, no. Go to camera 4, I am. Okay, so Books That Drive Rivers of Revenue, our webinar series. Webinar 1 is Kath and I, but Kath leading the show, Overnight Authority, the 9 things you must know to write a brilliant business book in 90 days. And then webinar 2, run by me with Kath as my guest, the 7 steps to sales success for ambitious authors. So both of these webinars are going to be incredibly helpful to anybody, any authors or would-be authors who would like to, let me go to the next one. Oh, and that's just the register again. So let me come back to this front of the screen. Okay, so we will send out, as I said, the link to the webinars if you would like to join us. I certainly know that they are going to be packed with so much incredible information for you that is going to really help you gain absolute clarity on what you need to do to, let me bring Kath back in again as well, what you need to do to write a brilliant book in 90 days. And also, as I said, the 7 steps to sales growth for ambitious authors. There are some critical steps you must take for this to actually be an effort worth doing that will bring the rivers of revenue into your business. There's things you need to do pre-launch, during the launch, and post-launch to really bring your book alive and to make incredible amounts of money from it. And I've seen it happen time and time again. We've got authors working with us who just blow my mind with the efforts they're putting in and what they actually are achieving. One more question we've got along the lines of tech moving quickly. What are your thoughts on blending the content of the book with online resources? Okay, David's just quickly popped another question in there. So Kath, have you got an answer to that one?
Yeah, absolutely. David, terrific question, because I totally think that's a brilliant idea. If you can take people from your book, where we don't sell in a book, we inform in the book, we're not aiming to sell anything. It's an act of generosity that we pay it forward, if you like. But if you link people across to your website to download resources, to download tip sheets, to download cheat sheets, preparation documents, dossiers, whatever you like, it is a terrific chance, because they then go and of course our websites are all about selling. So it's a chance to really engage people more with the programs that you do and that they might like to buy.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Kath. I've got another one here. Let me just show this question as well. So one from Julie. Thank you so much, Julie Crockett. I host a podcast for women, and I'm wondering if I can convert the content into a book with their permission, of course. Great question, Julie. Thank you so much for answering it. Kath, what do you think?
Wonderful. So podcasts are really a huge bank of original research. Just turning the podcast into a book, I think, would sort of undervalue the podcast content. So not just printing transcripts is what I'm talking about, but if you can take that content and sort of really rethink the content, some of the themes, for example, that have come through in the podcast, and then have the voices of the women that you have interviewed supporting those themes and those contents. Brilliant way to use podcast material. It's all yours, so no permissions required other than asking the guests. But yeah, so it's fantastic. It'd be so great.
Okay, really great answer. Thank you. That's very helpful for me as well. And from Phil, we've got, hi, Rachel and Kath, love this. Thank you. What is the most effective way to get reviews? awesome question as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So the most effective way to get reviews is really to ask people to review your book. I mean, once you've kind of got some momentum, then others tend to follow. So I don't mean ask people who hate your book to review your book. I mean, ask people who give you feedback that they enjoyed the book to simply go to Amazon, to go to Goodreads, and just write their thoughts down. And, so we never want to be, awkward or creepy. We just want to say, hey, if you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you could write a review, because once some reviews get up there, there's more momentum around getting reviews. That said, I'm not that worried about that because I use my book to sell programs. So I just want the people I give the book to love it.
Yeah, okay. And that's something that we help a lot of our clients with as well. So people come to us, authors come to us and say, gosh, I just, the first thing I ask authors is, if I was a client now, I read your book, what program am I going to want to buy? Which of your programs am I going to want to buy? And they all go, oh gosh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay, Kath makes such an important point. It is something that we do a lot of work on with our clients and our authors in particular. It all has to flow. It has to be an easy, continuous flow from book into program. So the clients go, right, I read this, I want this. And obviously you need to have it and be very well prepared to sell that. So this is why creating rivers of revenue from your book takes a bit of effort behind the scenes to get it done right. Otherwise, you leave a lot of money on the table. Next, great question from Joe Saunders. And if I must say, Joe, love Joe so much. She is the reason that I'm here today, because let me tell you, if it wasn't for Joe, there is no way I would be organized and getting my LinkedIn Live up, because it was rather terrifying to think that we'd be doing this. So thank you so much, Joe. You are a LinkedIn superstar and such a beautiful person as well. Can sales messages play a big part in a book? Now, sales messages is something that we at SalesSPACE do specialize in, and it's the bumper sticker statements that you see coming across the bottom of our screen that really they summarize, they put in a nutshell your IP and what you stand for. Now, Kath, I know when I read your book, it was full of sales messages. So the question is, are they a vital part of the book?
Yeah, they are a vital part of the book, and the reason why they work together is because in your program people work out the person that they're talking to and then provide the sales message to them. So my only caveat is to make sure that the sales messages are absolutely targeted to the reader, and to never put the sales message above the reader's above information for the reader. So we always want them to sort of flow naturally. It's not about sort of, we don't want the book to be a sort of, well, we're never going to be salesy, are we? Because this is about selling without being salesy. So yes, we want to really make sure that they're woven in. Your best sales messages are really just messages that help people enormously to understand the problems that they're facing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is all about targeting. It is making them relevant. So results require relevance. There's our sales message when it comes to relevance, and results is something we truly believe in. And that's why targeting is so important. Okay, what other questions have we got here? I can see them scrolling on the side of my screen. And this is, I'm just going to show this. Says, thank you, Joe. I love that. All right, I think we have powered through everything today, and I want to thank you so much, Kath, for being here. It's been so much fun. I'm going to get a little bit addicted to this, and I think that we've got some brilliant work to be doing with our authors and our would-be authors to get them organised, get them writing their books, and for us to help people create those rivers of revenue that we are promising, because it is such an opportunity, and we see it done time and time again. Such great information. Thanks. Thank you, Barb, for being here today and for commenting. All right. So thank you, Kath. It has been wonderful. It is always a pleasure to be working with you. And if you would like to join us, for everybody here listening, if you would like to join us, you can see the link scrolling across the bottom of the screen at the moment. We're going to put the link all over LinkedIn as well if you would like to register for the 2 free webinars. So one is, I think, on the 27th of March, the next on the 4th of April. Remember, when you go to the link, you will register for Kath's one first, which is the Overnight Authority. And make sure you loop back and register for the 7 Steps to Sales Success for ambitious authors as well. Both are free, both are 1 hour, both are going to blow your mind in terms of the clarity and that you receive and the confidence you get to take the step and drive real revenue, rivers of revenue from your book. We know how it's done. We're doing it ourselves, and we can certainly help you. So thank you, everybody. It has been so much fun being here, and we will see you all again in our next Yes Zone live show. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.